In Talk of the Nation tonight, we are talking campaigns, and it is almost a month since the presidential campaigns ahead of the 2026 general election started. And in the race is incumbent Yoweri Museveni, the NRM party flag bearer, FDC's Nandala Mafabi, NUP's Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the Common Man's Party candidate Mubarak Munyagwa, the Conservative Party Joseph Mabirizi, Frank Bulira of the Revolutionary People's Party, and Mugisha Muntu of the Alliance for National Transformation, as well as Robert Kasibante for the National Peasants Party. Now, compared to the past polls, especially the 2021 general election that was bloody, the current exercise has been generally peaceful. And I am now joined by Mande Akol, a policy and political analyst, to digest this very rare situation in Uganda. Good evening to you, Mande, and thank you for joining us.
The pleasure is mine. Good evening to you, Mabirizi.
Yes, so we do start off with, unlike the 2021 campaigns that were marked by, violence and aggressive security presence that saw over almost 50 people killed and several injured. This time around, the tone seems to be very calm and very peaceful. What, in your view, what do you think has contributed to such a rare situation?
Well, in 2021, we had an election amidst an epidemic. We had the COVID, and we had just come out of a lockdown. Remember, there was also that tension on the side of the security forces on one, guarding the election, but also preventing the spread of the disease. So that also really caused some
the violence?
The violence, definitely, because every other time they would say that candidates and their supporters are faulting the standard operation procedures in terms of keeping the distance and not having a crowded kind of rally. But also we must also appreciate that our democracy is growing. Yes, our democracy is growing, and the players are now getting conscious, getting to know what their roles are. That, for example, you find that we people in the media, previously we thought that by maybe being a journalist is a license to even go in the danger zone. So we've also learned the hard way that yes, much as you want the story, but you have a life to protect. So these are also some of the things that come in. Also on the side of the security personnel, I think also they have also, with time, known how basically they can handle crowds and they can handle an election. And the by-election in Kawempe, I think that acted more as an area for them really to learn more, because it was an election that was marred with a lot of violence. I think that really should have made them go back on the drawing board and know how they can really handle the situation. Then lastly, the NRM primaries and the structural elections, really they had their own drama. So all these gave the security apparatus in the country learning points, so that come now the main election where the world is actually watching, then they can really ensure that those loopholes are really covered.
Usually the security comes out to put the blame sort of on the candidates who are on the campaign trail. So would you say that this time around the candidates have also played a big part in keeping the peace and calm?
Yeah, the candidates have played a very, very big part because we've seen Kyagulanyi meeting the foot soldiers, and this time you realize they're more disciplined than they were in 2021. Then you look at other players also the same. But also we should not forget that previously we had elections where you had one of the candidates and the leading opposition candidate running a campaign on defiance. You get it? And therefore,
when you say defiance, yes, what do you elaborate?
Defiance meant that where they feel that the laws perhaps oppressive, they have they shouldn't obey, and really that perhaps put some candidates on a wrong side with the law, on the wrong side with the people in the security. But now you can see there is some kind of dialogue. You've seen the foot soldiers engaging the police, and in a manner that is really very amicable. But also we should also appreciate that this time round, it is still early, because this is 1 month down. It's not even 1 month down the road since the campaigns are started. Normally, to gauge a campaign that is really peaceful, when it is getting to the finish line, because that's when the heat is high.
But 2021 didn't wait for us to reach the finish line.
It was in November. We're still in October. what you're talking about was in November, so we're still in October. Then the other thing, we should also know that there's also another set of leaders that have not yet nominated. So let's wait until maybe the MPs nominate. That's when we shall say, because now...
We should not count our checks.
We can say, so far, so good, but let's pray that it continues.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And so does this also show that politically we are maturing, as you've said, we shouldn't hurry, but I mean the sign of peace and calm, does it show that we are maturing when it comes to politics, when it comes to understanding the campaign strategies as they are?
Yeah, every passing year, every other time we have an election, definitely our politics is maturing. Because since 1996, you should appreciate that every after 5 years we have an election.
Yes.
Yes, and it shows that we are maturing. And every other time we have new players coming on board.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that we should appreciate, that our politics is maturing, but also the voters are also becoming conscious.
And more aware.
And more conscious of what they are doing. Because they've seen that, yes, you can die for a politician today, and then tomorrow no one is going to remember your kids, and even something about you. So also the voters, yes, they feel we can support, but maybe we may not die for somebody.
But again, as we are maturing politically, we are sort of dwindling when it comes to the number of voters. And you made reference to the previous elections. If we are to go back, in 2001, the voter turn-up was almost 70%, which was even higher than the national, expectation or target. And then the years that followed, we did see the number, dropping down. And that is something that we should not, pay a blind eye to, because at the end of the day, the voters are very important. They're the ones that make the decision. And so how are we going to deal with the issue of voter turnout, especially even the reports that were released by some lawyers that indicated that the voters have their reservations as to why they do not turn up for voting. So how are we going to deal with a situation like that? How do you think it can be handled?
At times there is voter fatigue. That, for example, maybe there is a region that has been voting for candidates that don't go through. You really realize that there will also be that kind of apathy, low turnout, because they realize. Then the other issue is that these days you find that the dynamics have changed.
Okay. That
regions you originally knew that they were NRM or opposition have now shifted. For example, like Uganda originally was an NRM stronghold, but now you see the ground has shifted. The north originally was an opposition stronghold, but now it is a 50-50. Teso ideally originally was the opposition used to fare well, but now you realize that the trend is changing. So where there is a shift in the aspirations and the voting patterns, definitely you either expect the voter turnout to either increase or decrease. Go down. Yes,
but as you just said, that the voters are now becoming more aware of what they are doing. Do we anticipate, as a political analyst, do we anticipate a more, a bigger number when it comes to the 2026 elections?
Yeah, this time you realize that more players are coming on board, trying to talk to their supporters to come in large numbers. For example, you can see with NUP, they really want to show that yes, they are the main opposition party. But also look at NRM. The SEC, the elections of SEC brought new players, new people, and therefore they also need to prove to their party that actually they can mobilize. So I anticipate a higher voter turnout this time around.
Okay. And so now looking at the institutional readiness, we're talking about the Electoral Commission, the security apparatus. What lessons do you think they have drawn from the 2021 election cycle, especially in regarding to transparency, results, transmission and credibility? Because, I mean, these were some of the issues that were actually, highlighted in the 2021 general elections.
Well, the security, the one thing I can say is that this time around we can see they are playing fair as compared to the previous elections. The Electoral Commission, I think, for now, we may not say much, because ideally our elections, we normally have issues when it comes to the voting and the announcing of the results, how the results come in. I think that is the part that we need to see changes. Because, for example, when you go to countries like Zambia, is that the results are given constituency by constituency. That by the time they announce the final results, everybody is convinced that so-and-so really has won. The same thing with Ghana, that you see they go a constituency by constituency, district by district, and really that. So we are yet to see that, how really the results come in and how they are actually announced. But when it comes to preparations, coming to the campaigns, coming to the nominations, I think we've always had it right.
Okay, yes. So Mande, finally, as you give your closing remarks, what would a peaceful and credible election mean for Uganda, and not just within the region, but also on the continent?
A peaceful election attracts foreign investment. A peaceful election leads to productivity, because now everybody realizes that, one, they are free and safe to go on with whatever they are doing. Secondly, a peaceful election gives everyone hope, because it means that therefore that when you go to election to an election, what is read is actually what has been what has been cast. So it gives everybody hope that really, yes, that maybe at one time I can, and it also gives the people the feeling that they have the power. As Article 1 says, that power belongs to the people. They will realize that, yes, really power belongs to the people. They have the ability to appoint the CEO. They have the ability to appoint their district leaders. They have the ability to appoint, because of course as they are electing, they are appointing to get whatever leaders they want. But an election that is not peaceful, it makes the people feel that actually power does not belong to them.
To them.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mande Akol Amazima, for making time to speak to us. And that being said, we stop for a break. When we return, we'll be hearing from the